Good morning, good morning, good morning. I actually have a little bit of voice coming back finally. And you would think my voice was gone because I live this super exciting life and yelling and going to the coolest club and being the toast of the town. And no, just have two kids, and one of them go to school at 15 months, and every other 15-month-old kid has some kind of new and adventurous virus that they're going to discover by picking their nose and flicking it at everyone. So such is life as being a parent. But Happy New Year, right? Like, don't let me go ahead and be the Debbie Downer. It's 2023, which is super cool. It's a great thing. We made it another year. Yeah, thank you, Robbie. So, it's funny. So, sorry. Every time I come on, oh, and thank you for Saturday, by the way. I was sorry I was unable to attend. My wife was at her full-time job, and I had both kids. And both kids decided that they want to be awake and as loud as possible. In fact, they want to celebrate the ball dropping a day early and at a time of 10 a.m. So I even tried to get to the computer and see what it would be like if I logged on, and then my son was not letting it happen. And then because our daughter, I wasn't holding her, she was not letting it happen. So just had to make a decision, and thank you for that. So every time I come on, I always have, all right, let me update on this, right? I don't actually have that many updates today, which seems odd, but it's also a good thing, right? So we're at another all-time high, $2.31.47, something like that, but that's good, an all-time high. Our businesses that we're now keeping track, well, okay, we've always kept track of the business listings, but now it's a metric that we put front and center, is continuing to move up. What's catching me by surprise is the member number has been coming down, but with new members joining. So it really has been a confluence of 10 or 15 members over the last, I don't know, 2 weeks that have allowed their account to go into the red 3 weeks in a row. So Stripe is, like I said, they just go ahead and to protect their, their system. They're not going to go ahead and try to charge the same card 4 times in a row, because a lot of times if you were a bad person, you were scamming credit cards, you might take a card and try to guess the CVC code. And when you don't get it right, all right, change it and guess it again. So there are limits in financial transactions that a good upstanding company would ever allow, and with Stripe it's 3. So I see that we have new people joining, yet I see that the member numbers go down. So I'm going to try to reach out to all those cancellations. I did try last week, and I actually got no response, which was odd. I usually get a response from at least one person. So I'm going to do that again today, and we'll see what happens. Also, those that have are members and don't have a plan, I'd like to reach out to as well today. And usually I wait till the end of the week, but because we were running a couple of ads on Google search, like I told you, we were just playing with, we have a lot of people that have come and clicked the site and have, put in their credentials, but then didn't select a plan. So I usually wait till Friday because it's, 2, 3, 5 people. But as of now, it's like 10 or 20 people because there's been that added traffic. So I want to do that as well today. Also, the plan amounts has been steadily declining, which again is due to, we have a bunch of new members coming in at the $1 plan, and then we have the other members that have been falling off because the 3 consecutive weeks of non-payment. And it kind of stands fair to reason that if you're in the dollar plan, well, even in your worst times, you're not going to have 3 consecutive weeks of non-payment. Your account should have $1 in it at some point in those 3 weeks, unless it's an account that you're closed or whatnot. So the accounts that have been falling off are the 25s, the 50s, the 77s, the 100s. So when you have the big accounts falling off, and you're still growing, right? You still have new accounts coming in, but they're all coming in at the trial plan, the average plan moves down. And that's just, mathematics. But I did want to touch on that because I always put myself on the other side. So when I take a look at the numbers every day, I'm like, that doesn't look good. Like, that's not a good looking number. But then when you delve into it, there is a very reasonable explanation. So just want to share it with you. Hey, Happy New Year to you as well. Let's see. So I think I'm actually getting close to doing something different. Now we've always led with, would you like to opt into RHINOStreet, right? And the challenge that's always been shared with me from all of our rhinos has always been, well, Anthony, the search engine is not populated. It doesn't have that reason someone should opt in. And I agree. But it's always been my point of view that to allow someone to opt in themselves goes ahead and allows them to be engaged. It allows them to say, okay, I'm here. Let me do my best to bring others in as well because I'm here. And on the surface, that made sense to me because I'm thinking about myself. I'm thinking about my work ethic. For instance, if I was able to opt into RHINOStreet and I was like the only one in my area that opted in, and the search engine had, all this free AI stuff, and it had a great message because it is local search and had no data tracking, no ads, no marketing. I'd go around town and tell everyone, hey, listen, there's this new search engine. You should really check it out. Because I know to myself that I'm the only result, right? Anyone that goes to it's going to find my business. Now, of course, others, you need more than one business because that game could only go on so long. But others would say, wow, you're the only one. I want to be on it. I could be one of two. And then someone would say, I want to be on it. I'd be one of three. And so forth, that those that got in early would find the good sense and the business savvy to say, it stands fair to reason that I should get everyone to be looking. Because if Google only had me as a result, well, I'd make a lot of money because a lot of people would only see me. The problem with that calculus is that people are inherently lazy and they don't like doing work. And that's not a commentary that's supposed to be taken out of context as mean-spirited. It's just people don't like to do that work. And more so, it's not even that people are lazy, but they're lazy when it comes to doing work that they're not absolutely certain is going to pay them. So for instance, if I'm Mr. Smith and I have a family and I work 9 to 5 at CVS, well, I'm there every day at 9. I work till 5. I'm the nicest person because that job, I know that if I do this, I'm going to get that. That makes reasonable sense to me. And if I don't do this, I know what I'm going to lose. That makes sense. With RHINOStreet, the problem or the variable that I was missing in my calculus was that the individual that goes ahead and says, I'm going to be the only listing and I'm going to share with other people, is now sharing and doing work that doesn't have a defined payback. This person believes that in their calculus that if they do this, it'll equal that, but they're not certain of it. There's no guarantee it will. How can they measure if it even does? And what if they run into a roadblock and they're not getting the traction that they want? Now they would have done all of that for nothing. It's those variables that have caused, or at least in my opinion, have been the reason that people say, yeah, when you get people on the search engine, I'll go there. Because for as long as we've been together, even before Rhino Bucks, it's been RHINOStreet, and that's always been the crown jewel. And RHINOStreet, I think, has like 485 listings. Now, granted, we've cleaned it up, right? So I think there was like 800 listings at one point, but the person didn't have a business name or this didn't have, so it's 485 really, really clean listings. And in fact, Frida, I did get your email and I'm gonna take a look into it because, and I guess I'll just say out loud. So Frida, in her area, her business doesn't come up. But when I go ahead and type in her zip code, so for instance, I go ahead and decline share permission for my location, which anyone could do, rhinosstreet.com, it's going to ask you to opt in because we don't just take your location, we ask you for it. If you say, no, I don't want to share it, it then asks you for your zip code because it only functions based on location. So I'm able to do that. I decline, and then I put in Frida's Israel and then her zip code. And when I do that, I'm now in the center of Israel at that zip code. The search engine doesn't know that I'm going on to look for Frida. It just knows that I'm looking to be in that location. So when I do so, I type in Frida's business and all the rest, and it comes up for me. For her, she says that she still can't find it. So obviously, that just the point being, Frida, I will email you and get to the bottom of that today, because you have been really, really patient with it. And in fairness, I thought I solved it because the story I just shared, I shared with you as well. So we'll get to it, but I didn't want to, pretend I didn't read the email as I'm right here talking about it. Anyway, so getting back to the calculus of things. Well, if the solution is, well, Anthony, just populate the search engine. Well, yeah, easier said than done, but is it, right? Is it easier said than done? Because a search engine is a local search engine, meaning all you need to do is populate a 20-mile radius, and everyone in that radius will get a whole bunch of results. See, it works both ways, right? The reason we were able to go down this line and feel quite confident that we'd be able to achieve our goal is because we never needed tons and tons of servers. Because every search, like the way Google does search, is they index it against every result in the entire globe. The way we do search, it's indexed against only the results within your 20 miles. We are able to identify and calculate that first, meaning we never need to have a big processing unit. When you type in, I live in 07728, the computer automatically knows, the software automatically knows, all right, there's 15 results. Which one do you want? And that's quite easy for a computer to do. So if I decided, and I'm still thinking about it, but it's kind of coming closer to this makes sense. If I wanted to, I live in Freehold, right? If I want to invite every business in Freehold to RHINOStreet, what I would do is I'd have to take a day and really find all those businesses, but I'm pretty good at stuff like that. Like I could probably whip up 20,000 emails if I spent a whole day just in Freehold. In which case I could then send an email to those 20,000 and say, hey, and we have lander pages that are just for Freehold. We have a lander, for instance, if you live in a town, or actually if you know a town or city in the United States that has a population of 50,000 or more, I challenge you, I don't know if that's the right word, but I implore you to say it's Atlanta, right? Atlanta.rhinostreet.com. And you will find a page that is all Atlanta, which is really, really cool. And it allows you to join right there. Meaning, we've already made all these subdomain landers. We can effectively go ahead and say, all right, let's identify a city and bring them on one by one. In which case, the city that does come on, now they actually have a fully populated search engine. And in fact, maybe that's the impetus for them to say, wow, this looks great. I'd like to be a part of it. I'm not part of it yet. Let me go sign up. And that might sound like my business is not location specific. How can I go list it all over? It's a digital membership. Carl, you can't. That's the short answer. There's many places that any business can be listed everywhere. The value proposition of RHINOStreet is that the only business that will come up will be local. So your business resides in a location, like wherever you're from, that's where your business is. And the people within 20 miles are able to find it. If you want others to find it outside of that 20 miles, I suggest Google or another company. With that said, there will be a point that we go ahead and expand into RHINOStreet Digital, right? Where the search results are within a 100-mile radius. That will be another product, it'll be a sister product, but we do have a solution for those that are thinking such as yourself, Carl, and Carl's new, right? And we love him. But this conversation has come up many times, and I've always stand very, very stern that only 20 miles. So I hope that's helpful. So I'm looking into doing that, and I may start doing that today. I don't know. That's good. So let's see, what else do we have on the calendar for today? Oh, so I did email a couple of, so with the bot, the automations are live. They are in real time. In fact, you could go to bscscan.com and you could pull up our contract address. In fact, you could very easily just do rhinobucks.com, but Bucks spelled B-U-C-K-S. RHINOBUCKS, B-U-X, goes to our marketing page for our token. So of course, I know the correct spelling isn't RHINOBUCKS, B-U-C-K-S, but it was available and it allows me to look at our scan just by typing it in. So if you want to do so, you can. In which case, when you get to that site, you will find, what was I just saying? I forgot where I was going with that. So you can go ahead and take a look at the transactions, and what you'll see is that many transactions are going out. Now, I'm not sending them, that's the bot sending them, so I know it works. That being said, there are some individual use cases that the bot is not working. So for instance, one gentleman had two email addresses because he had two plans, like one for him and one for his kid or something, and it had the same wallet address. I guess he's gonna surprise his kid, right? And in doing so, the bot only sends to each address once per week because it's a weekly subscription. So the bot kind of like did not send every other one of his. So we had to go ahead and create a solution. So we just combine the plans and fine, right? So it works. Others that say that the bot has not sent out to them is because they did not have their wallet address inputted onto their dashboard. In fact, one gentleman emailed me and said, I don't really believe if I believe Anthony's story of why this isn't happening. Anthony has sent me coin many times. I know he has my address. So why am I not getting it now? In which case I had to email back. And this is a really nice guy. Like, we like him a lot. I go, I'm really sorry that you questioned my sincerity, but now let me explain why. So the bot, the way it sends is it has data sets, right? So it has the wallet address data set, it has the Stripe transaction data set, and it has the RHINO bucks, so the pancake swap data set. And when it happens is, so the gentleman or whoever would go on to Stripe, they make their transaction and it gets updated to Stripe, and everything's automatic, right? So when that transaction happens in Stripe, the bot recognizes it and says, okay, I need to do something here. So the bot then goes ahead and pulls the wallet address from its database. Now the database for the wallet address is secured to you. For instance, for me to go into your database and change your wallet address or update your wallet address, I can. Like, the coder that created is our head developer. That's not a problem, but it would take a half hour. It would just take a long time. And I don't know how to explain it. I can only explain it as if you had a car and you had to, fix your ignition, but the ignition was under the engine and next to the water cooler, but behind the radiator, you'd have to take a whole bunch of stuff out to like do one silly thing. So it's just the way the code is structured, you'd have to do a whole lot of stuff. So that being said, I don't think that's a good use of time. So I'm not going to take our head coder and say, I need you to spend an hour to go ahead and update this wallet address. And that's not directed at any one person, it's just in general, right? Because the alternative is, or the solution is, you can just go to your dashboard, copy and paste your wallet address and press save, and it's done. So would I rather everyone simply do it for yourself, since I know that it is secure and only you have ever touched it and we're not messing with code? Of course. If someone says to me, Anthony, my arms are broke, my fingers fell off, I have COVID times 10, I need you to do it for me. Well, of course the answer is yes, I'll do it, right? But the bar for me to do it is quite high, like your fingers need to fall off. But anyway, so I explained it to the gentleman and he said, oh, okay, great. And that gentleman went ahead and updated his wallet address and it works. So if someone has not been getting their coin, I want to make sure that you do. It's very important that you do. So two things. One, go check if your wallet address has been, if you have not saved your wallet address, do it, right? And it's right where you sign in, so everyone knows how to get there. If you have done so, and you're still not getting coin, email me, because then I could go ahead and I have a list of people that I need to tend to, right? Like, so our head coder has a morning ahead of him, to say the least. And also because I gave our team off last week, right? So they just have some stuff to catch up with. But if that's the case, let me know, because I'd like to make sure that you get it. And if the case is not A or B, and you have this unique case, I really want to know. Because as unique as that case is, I promise you someone else either A has it or someone else B will have it. And we want to solve it before it happens. And we thank you for being so unique, right? So that's that. Only 9 minutes over. I was ready to say 12 minutes over. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'm here, I'm working all day, right? Duh. I mentioned this also in email, please read the, oh, okay, cool. I will do that. All right, so that's that. I'm already being yelled at by Frida all the way from Israel. Anthony, go ahead and get to work. So I love everyone. If you have any individual comments, questions, concerns, please email me. I'm always here, right? But I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm here, right? So love everyone, and I will talk to you later. Bye.